Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today back with another video here. Some unfortunate news this morning as we found out that Mark Friedman was put on waivers yesterday by the Flyers. And pretty much the reason that Friedman was put on waivers as required because he made the NHL roster out of camp. And the reason is if you make the roster out of camp, you have to get put on waivers so that if you're clear, you can go to the taxi squad or you can go down to the AHL, whatever. And what happens is he gets picked. So the Penguins, they select Friedman off waivers, they make the waiver claim, and they pick up Friedman. And who is the Penguins GM, you may ask? Ron Hextall. Who drafted Mark Friedman? Ron Hextall in 2014 in his first draft as Flyers GM. He took Friedman there in that draft along with other Flyers players that are on the team now, Oscar Lindblom, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Travis Sanheim, and Friedman being the other one. So that one sucks. That stings. I hate seeing guys go, but losing them for nothing kind of makes it worse too. I always liked Friedman. I always have. We talked about it last year. He had a really good year last year, Friedman, in the handful of games he played. I think he played 6 games last year with the Flyers. And right before the pause, I think he was supposed to get into that Tampa game the day when pretty much the whole world shut down. So he was playing some more games down the stretch. And, you know, we kind of talked about that where he got re-signed to a contract. And we kind of looked at him as like, you know, they see him as an NHL defenseman now. Well, like, you kind of set him up to fail a little bit. And I was listening to Yariv and Lance on the Flyers Nitty-Gritty podcast. They were kind of talking about it too, and I was talking about this with Yariv last night, where you kind of set them up to fail in that game, in that Lake Tahoe game with the lineup, because the fourth line I didn't like either. And I said this before. I didn't really touch on it in the game review. I was kind of just so pissed about the game. And just the way that the whole second period went, I didn't even really dig into the lines that much. But, like, I was mad about that fourth line, and it was more so because you already had a defenseman up there in Morin playing wing. You're already trying to, you know, turn that into something. And then you do it again to Friedman. You're already down guys, so you're essentially just setting them up to fail because you're putting another defenseman in an awkward spot. I understood it maybe a little bit because of the physicality, but that was it. That was really the only thing I understood from that. So, again, it sucks seeing Friedman go. I always liked him. He was always a really good, offensive defenseman that could skate. He can move the puck. He's physical when need be. He can draw penalties. We saw that. And, again, I thought he didn't really get a fair shot this year, to be honest. He played that one game against Boston, got hurt. Next game, he took a bad penalty. That was the game the Flyers got blown out 6-1 in, and then he didn't play for a while there. He was pretty much a healthy scratch, which is why you didn't see him going anything because, he was a healthy scratch because he made the roster out of camp. But again, it sucks seeing Friedman go. I always liked him, and seriously, best of luck to him in his career because he, again, 25 years old, right-handed defenseman. There really isn't many of those guys that you can kind of plug in to play, bottom end of your lineup like that. But it is what it is, and the Flyers have to move on. But losing him for nothing is not good. A couple things. Tonight's game against the Rangers, 7 o'clock at home, and a few things from the Rangers' perspective. No Panarin from that leave of absence. They have no Capo Caco because of the COVID list, and Filipino's also out as well. I did not see anything about who would be in net. I would assume it's Georgiev for the Rangers. If not, could be Shesterkin as well. And as for the Flyers, Drew is back. He's off the COVID list. Made that Instagram post yesterday. I don't know if any of you on here follow me on Instagram. I know a lot of people will, kind of come over from different things and things like that. But I made the Instagram post about it. So Drew came off yesterday. He did practice. And he was the first one out today in morning skate, first skater on the ice. So lines at practice yesterday were JVR, Couturier, Farabee, Drew, Hayes, Patrick, Raffle, Bunneman, and Aube-Kubel, and then Torinsky with Andrioff and Sushko / Morin. So they kind of switched on the reps there for that fourth line. But Patrick at the wing, I like that. I think it's. I mean, AV talked about it. It's not a stick thing. It's only for a little bit, but it's just to try to give Patrick a spark, and it makes sense because I think the last 2 games he's looked a little lost out there at times. It seems sometimes like I know we talked about it on the podcast where it seems like he might be trying to avoid contact at times, or that's just kind of what it seems like. Elliott is in net tonight for the Flyers. That was not something I expected, to be honest, but Moose is in net tonight, which I'm perfectly fine with. The Flyers have played fine with Moose in net for most of the year, and again, I think it's just it's not really anything too crazy about. As for the defense, you have Ghost back with Provorov, Sanheim and Myers, and Hag and Gustafsson for the D pairs. Again, I'm not really sure about these D pairs moving forward. I really don't like the Hag Gustafsson pair. I know I kind of ripped into that, but again, it is early, so I'm going to give it some time still. And obviously Sanheim Myers is always a good pairing. They've always gelled well together. And again, they're kind of revisiting Ghost with Provorov because of how good that worked early in the year. A few things came out yesterday. The Flyers, there were some rescheduled games. So now the road game against Pittsburgh, which was originally April 13th, is now March 6th at 1 o'clock. Away game against Boston, which was originally March 7th, is now April 5th at 7. Home against Boston, which was April 5th. It was April 5th. It is now April 10th at 2 o'clock. At Washington, originally February 9th, which is one of those games that was pushed back a while ago because of the whole COVID thing. That's now April 13th at 7 p.m. And then at the Rangers, originally February 14th, is now April 22nd at 7 p.m. So it's a lot of those games where they kind of had TBDs on them. Now all have times and dates, and some games got pushed back and things like that. So again, to be honest with you, I'm kind of expecting a win tonight from the Flyers. I don't necessarily know how, I shouldn't say that, because I have a feeling that the Flyers are going to come out in this game and they're going to win. I just don't know how it's going to go. Is it going to be a sound game because you're getting Giroux back? You got Patrick on the wing. You now have pretty much two set lines. Again, I really like that third line. Again, I think for the most part, the Flyers just kind of have to go into this with ease. I think special teams is going to look a little bit better too. The power play units yesterday were first unit was Hayes, Couturier, JVR, Farabee, and Provorov, and your second unit was Giroux, Patrick, Aubé-Kubel, Gustafsson, and Gostisbehere. So we could see some stuff with that. But it looks like they're trying to keep that first unit kind of together for what they have been working with these last few games and everything with COVID. But again, it's tough because the power play, it's been a struggling thing this year. Even when they're set up, it doesn't even look like they're set up. It's just such a mess. So hopefully they can kind of get a spark from this tonight. And again, having Giroux down there with Patrick, I like, because I think Giroux's arguably probably been one of the best players on the power play. And I would say he's probably second, and I would honestly put JVR first just because he's been scoring a lot of the goals. But again, tonight's game got the Rangers at home, again looking for a bounce-back win after the blowout in Lake Tahoe, and you've lost 2 straight. So again, you get your captain back. You got, struggling young center and Patrick going to wing. Hopefully the Flyers can take advantage tonight with no Panarin for the Rangers. One of the guys who was fantastic in that last game when they played him. I think he had like 10 shots on goal or something like that. But again, remember guys, podcast articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.